Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's session of Geist the Sin Eaters second edition, Second Chances.
And guys,
I hope
about hearing
we've
the
been messing
audio
with the
issues.
audio.
I think we fixed it.
Alrighty.
We've been working on fixing the audio issues, so please let us know if you hear any. Uh, that said, let's go ahead and get into it. So, today will be Today will be Wednesday, November the 1st, 2023. What have you all been doing during your downtime? Who wants to go first?
Well, since I'm the only one who didn't end up seeing the cops this time, how about I show off? Well,
Okay.
we had 4 days to work with this time, and everyone else was unfortunately held up for the police for the first time. So while they were doing that, my first day, I went and stopped by Grinning Sam to trade that happy memory that he asked for the introduction that he was as willing to give us. Apparently, the person in question is Old John Walker, who lives in a ruined shack up about halfway up the peak at the Canton Winter Resort, which looks to be a place that we're going to want to head up. Hello! Looks like we just had a brand new follow. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you, BB1D72, for the follow.
All right. Second day, I held dumb supper for everyone and welcomed Myrtle into the crew. The ghosts seemed to be happy about it. Gus enjoyed his share and mentions that Lucerne wants to speak with the Sin Eaters when we have a moment to spare, so that might be happening next week. Sounds important.
Hey
Uh,
Jeff, you want to move your microphone a little closer to your mouth?
Hello, testing 1 2 3. My apologies. Well, if that's the worst audio issues we have today, I'm going to consider myself blessed. Um, so I went and took a watch of the blue lights at the security desk in the morning on the third day. And a few students in each grade set off the blue light. Most of them appear to be obviously haunted. They've got a ghost trailing behind them. But there were 3 students who set off the blue light without a ghost, bargeist, or cast off in sight around them. So we don't know why they were getting bothered. So I'm probably going to be following up on those, grab some names, and see if I can't figure out what's setting off the weirdo detector. Um, and lastly, I went and talked to Coach Kirk and got him to write up a letter of recommendation for me. Once I got that, I took a copy of the article Myrtle wrote about me, about my tragic plight, the edited highlights reel that my dear friend and Ethan helped me out with, and this letter, and I mailed off a copy to every single college with a team in the NCAA Hockey League, which is 151 copies total. So that was my whole day. But you know what?
Pardon me, I had to swap out my battery on my headset.
No problem. But yeah, that was me.
Tibbs, you want to go?
Yeah. Okay. So, where was it? There it is. Okay. So, first day, uh, first day we were uh being being detained by the police, and thankfully, um, I have something of a decent lawyer, so that didn't cause too much in the way of problems, although I'm sure there's going to be questions asked of me later. Um, let's see here. Da-da. Yeah. Da-da. Then day two was really informative. I spent my day getting more information about the SIM card that uh, that I got the information from or of that belongs to the killer, and let's see here, basically was able to get like location data and stuff like that. So we got some really good solid leads there. Then let's see here, day three, I tried to do some investigating around the house regarding my parents and ended up breaking a rather important looking statue that that's gonna cause problems. And then
Would you describe the statue to the audience, please?
okay, let's see here. Just a thorough examination of the house doesn't turn up much. In your father's study, you do find a statuette of a wolf-headed man sitting legs crossed with hands clasped in front of his face and spread wings, wearing a crown. You fumble your investigation of the statue, dropping it and breaking one of the wings off. As you flee the study, Algernon lets you know that he just got some great news. Your parents are coming home next week.
Yeah, usually I want you guys to paraphrase as much as possible, but this description is actually going to be important.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then the last day was another stream trying to go for world record and getting continued reports of orbs and uh, stuff like that from chat. And someone mentions going to school with me, who uh, then quickly got booted before they accidentally doxed me or something. So, but overall, decent stream. That's me.
Alrighty, who's next?
I'm the only one left. Unless there are players we don't know about, which would be kind of fun, actually. Um, so day one, I dealt with those fucking cops. By which I mean they grilled me all fucking day, and Ethan's lawyers had to save my ass. But that's okay. Myrtle helped as well. And I got released around 10 p.m. Day two, I was with everyone else when we jumped Myrtle into the crew. We had a fancy fucking supper where shit was flying up into the air and she could not see who was lifting it. So that was fun for her, and we got grilled with questions from her. And then day three, I decided to help us out a little bit. So breaking into the gym is actually pretty simple, but not everyone else knows that. And since our fingerprints would be found there, I figured it would be really useful if a bunch of other fingerprints were also found there. So I started a TikTok challenge for people to break into the old gym. And apparently my fellow students are fairly pliable. All it took was a few strategic TikToks from burner accounts, and by the end of the day, there had been four other attempts by students to break into the old gym. So I think that's going to go well. And then day four, I talked to our ghost friends at the school and our ghost acquaintances, since we're not quite friends yet, and convinced them to do a conga line through the quote unquote metal detector at the front doors. And there's about a dozen or so ghosts that dwell in Whispering Peaks High, and they're only a little bit less bored than all the other ghosts we've come across. So they're absolutely willing to walk through it occasionally to make it go off as long as it doesn't harm them. So that was me.
God, being trapped in high school forever, that is literally a nightmare.
A special sort of hell.
Yeah.
I think I would be willing to try whatever the underworld was in about a week and change.
Alrighty. So let's kick things off. Wednesday, November 1st, 2023. Uh, Ty wanted to see the coach, but what about the rest of you? What are you doing right now?
I am
Uh,
currently talking with the ghosts in the school to see if they've noticed anything weird, and I'm going to attempt. I've been attempting to start making friends with the people who are already haunted to see kind of what's going on.
um, I'm gonna say I'm hanging out at the school, um, shooting shooting the breeze with other high school kids and swapping uh, swapping stories of ghost sightings and stuff like that, seeing if I could find something interesting from around the school.
Alrighty. And did you have any objective with what you were doing, Nathan?
Yeah, I'm just making friends and learning about the ghosts in a way, the ghosts that are attached to people in a way that doesn't make me look weird to the people they're attached to.
Hmm. Okay, so in that case, how about presence plus investigation from Nathan? And let's see, you were trying to get some more uh, ghost stories as well, Ethan. So let's say manipulation plus occult.
Two successes.
Okay. Ba-ba-da-ba-da, da-da. Two successes.
All right. And while they've been doing this, Ty has arrived at Coach Malcolm Kirk's office.
I knock at the door and wait to be invited inside. Uh, right now, I really need to be on Coach Kirk's best side. He likes me already, but like I need him to stick his neck out for me a little bit, so showing I need to be showing up on my best behavior.
You hear the hurried closing of a drawer and hear Coach Kirk's gruff voice telling you, "Come on in."
I step in, smiling. Hey, Coach. Thank you very much for that letter. I got 'em all sent out the other day. I appreciate you doing that for me.
No problem, he says, coughing. Uh, Coach Kirk is a big, square kind of man. He's a few years away from hitting 60. He's been doing this for decades. Uh, his desk is covered in paperwork, and it wouldn't take you all three to guesses to get figure out what that paperwork is for, seeing as there are profiles all across the desk for deceased teammates of yours. Uh, a cigar is burning half forgotten in his ashtray, and the man looks like he hasn't shaved or slept all week. But he still spares a glance of concern mixed with sorrow when he sees Ty enter the room.
So,
"Oh, hey, kid," he says. He sweeps his arm across his desk, uh, knocking a plastic shot glass to the floor. "Come on in, sit down."
I take the guest chair, which is, as per tradition in these things, a plastic little student's chair, probably borrowed centuries ago from another classroom and left here forever. Um, I sit down and say, "Sorry to bother you again, but well, you're the only guy I know who knows much about this or has a reason to care much about my goals at this point, and I know you're stuck in a rough patch here too, but I thought maybe you'd hear me out." Um,
He picks up the cigar from the ashtray and takes a deep hit, blowing smoke in rings above your head. Shoot, kid.
so I am obviously there's a reason we can't field a varsity team this year. I wouldn't want that on the junior varsity kids to just get thrown to the meat grinder without a proper year to finish developing, finish setting up. We already talked about that. And even if they could, it wouldn't be fair to the goalie on their team to just get pushed out same as I was. It wouldn't work out for anybody. I get that. But I need to I know I can't play in high school here, not without transferring, and I don't wanna. I I could never be on another team, and it'd suck to lose all my friends for my final semester with people I don't know, and that's just in the hopes that I could get on another team with this little warning. But there are a bunch of adult teams out here, some corporate teams, some little adult intramural sports stuff, and I am technically 18. I think, which means that I count as an adult. And I was wondering, I know it'd be irregular, but do you think you could help me try and get onto a team I could play semi-regularly? Just something to show that I'm still in the game? I figure it'd be something to give the recruiters to watch when they come down, assuming I can get anyone to look my way.
Coach Kirk taps his cigar against his chin before taking another deep inhale. That's an idea, kid. And if that's what you want, yeah, I think I could probably handle that. I was thinking, on the other hand, though, of another option.
Oh,
I don't know if this would be your deal, but since you're the only survivor of the varsity team, and like you said, it wouldn't be fair to Curtis to make him step out of the goal and start swinging a stick with the other kids. Uh, did you want to work as a assistant coach for the semester?
that would be awesome. It would give me a chance to keep working with you, and honestly, having me still on the ice would be nice, even if it's just there to help give the other kids some stuff. Maybe I can help Curtis, because, I was doing pretty good.
And if Curtis were to get hurt, that means you'd be able to step in. That is a concern that I've had. Uh, you uh, you know how it is out here.
Well, you know what they say. Hockey is just sometimes just boxing with a few less rules. At least they stopped having an enforcer over on the team up from Aspen, eh?
I'll take it.
I don't.
So he
Sorry, you were saying.
so Coach Kirk says, taking another drag on his cigar, about keeping your stick on the ice. Uh, well, there is an YMCA team that meets once a week on Sundays, if that's something that you're interested in. It's pretty casual. Uh, it wouldn't be the sort of super competitive thing that uh, you'd put on your resume, but in a case like yours, uh, it's that or try out for the minor leagues.
Yeah, and most of the time those guys they're looking for kids who are playing college right now. So I think I think just having me on the ice, having it so that if a recruiter comes down here, they can see me play, even if it's not a usual kind of game, they'll know I'm not in a usual kind of situation if they're already coming down here, giving them something, you know? But any way to get back and playing. I feel myself getting rusty every day.
He nods. You know, it's too bad too. I think we could have took the county championship this year.
Think? I know we could have. I reach over and punch his shoulder. After all, we'd have you as our coach.
Coach Kirk looks up at a single solitary banner for the county championship. This was a championship banner from 1993. He points at it. I don't remember if I've told you the story, kid, but this is the one and only county championship we've won. 1993, my first year coaching. He takes another big hit on his cigar and does his best to not blow the smoke into your face. We haven't been able to go across the line since. If it wasn't the damn private school, it was Aspen knocking us down. But this year we could have done it if it hadn't been for. Then he goes silent for a moment. Sorry, kid. I know it's kind of crass to worry about my problems when an
Coach,
entire bus full of kids died.
coach, we're both here talking about the hockey results of that exact same problem. I get it. And you know what? It sucks. It really fucking sucks. Sorry. But the one thing we can do is I can help as best I can. We can make sure that these kids get you it next year. And hey, the JV team can get there too. Nothing's stopping them.
Maybe, he says. Uh, a lot of the JV kids are pretty spooked. That one kid who joined up last semester, Lee, the Vietnamese kid, you know him?
I think so.
Sophomore. Uh, he damn near quit the team after it happened. I had to practically beg to get him to stay. It's not like the killer's gonna come here.
It wasn't like he was targeting the hockey team specifically. We were just in the same class.
He nods. Exactly.
Maybe that'll help if I'm out there with you. You know, letting people know that we're still making hockey work after all that. If nothing else, I can show them how to do things properly.
Yeah, this was a psycho, not a curse.
Well,
Well,
no matter what happens, I'm going to get myself to the NHL. I'm going to make sure that you get to sit down in the bar with all your friends on game day and say, "That's my boy. That's that kid I got out of here."
Coach Kirk gives you a sad smile and says, yeah, we're going to work towards it, kid. Anything else I can help you with while you're here?
Nah, just figured I'd bother you while I was in. And thank you again for the letters. It's probably the only thing that's going to get me looked at. We're going to make it happen though.
No, no problem, kid. Writing you a letter of recommendation is the literal least I can do.
All right. Stop taking up your time. I know you got stuff to do. I reach up and clap him on the shoulder. I have to stop by and talk with you about getting that coaching thing set up and be there for a session. Make sure that I'm helping out.
All right, I'll get the paperwork in order, kid.
All right. I stand up and head towards the door, making sure not to knock over anything from the piles of papers, and head out to the locker room. Uh, while I'm here, I'm gonna empty out my locker because there's not really a lot of reason for me to keep any more stuff in here. Just some little equipment, the stuff I was using more recently, rather than my old stuff that I set on fire a couple weeks ago.
All right, and while you're handling that, we're gonna go back over to the others. So I see that you both rolled two successes.
Yes,
So
indeed.
Nate, so Nathan, you were just trying to get some information. No, that was Ethan who was trying to get information on the ghost stories. You were trying to see if you could make friends with any of the ghosts around, huh?
Yep, specifically, um, well, any of the ghosts, but I am specifically looking at the ones attached to people to see what the deal is.
Well, it seems like there's at least a few uh, haunted students in every grade and even a few haunted teachers. A quick chat with a few of them sort of gives you a broad idea. Very pretty similar stories, something like I couldn't rest without knowing that he was okay, or uh, she was the only thing I was thinking about when I was dying, and then next thing I know, I show up next to her. As far as you can tell, it looks like they're simply anchored to these people, and that's why they're here.
But no one particularly interesting.
Uh, in regards to Ethan's hunt for ghost stories, uh, just about everyone in Whispering Peaks has a ghost story or two. Um, you were looking, you said specifically for anything revolving around the school.
Yeah. No, aside from prom queen.
Well, there are interminable numbers of ghost stories about the school, about the high school. Um, but the only other one besides prom queen that shows up with any regularity is about an art teacher who hung herself in the art room around 1995. They say that during the night, uh, or whenever one student is left in the room, they can see the shadow of the teacher hanging from a makeshift noose.
Okay. Note that down.
Hmm.
Okay.
It's one of those stories that's just about vague enough that anyone who saw a wacky shadow out of their corner of their eye in that room could insist that they saw the ghost. But who knows? It might be real and it might not be.
Okay.
Creepy.
So we we'll have to come back to that another time.
So, with school being let out for the day, where are you guys meeting up?
Um, I think we've been meeting up at Nathan's car. Um, Easy to get places afterwards, and means I've got a reason why I'm not heading directly home, as I'm hanging out with a friend that my parents know about.
Nathan is already at his car, sitting on the back, trying to keep people from smashing in his other taillight.
There is under Ty's arm a unpleasant scented gym bag that contains the contents of his gym that have been abandoned for about a month now, which he throws into the back seat of the car. Hey guys,
I have a trunk, you know.
I mean, sure. Picks the bag and walks around back. Pop it for me.
Nathan does so, just so
Look,
it doesn't smell like moldy feet in the car.
he throws it into the enclosed space. The thoughts of what it's going to smell like whenever they get around to removing it already entering his head. But alas, there's no other way forward. He throws it in there and shuts it up and goes up and join there. So, sorry for keeping you guys. Appreciate you. Coach says he's going to try and have me on as assistant coach.
Okay.
Get me back
I
on the
mean,
ice, and he says that if anything happened to the current goalie, they'd put me on. So I might be in a game.
Nathan Nathan raises his hand just a tiny bit. His eyebrows kind of scrunched together. Um, I hate to be insensitive here, but isn't the team dead? Who are you coaching?
So there are two levels of sport in high school. You have what's called junior varsity and varsity. The junior varsity team is the younger team, normally made up of the sophomores and the juniors, and the varsity team is the seniors and anyone who can make that team. They're the better players and the ones that'll be competing at the statewide competitions. Junior varsity is training up for that because those kids aren't ready for the varsity team. They're just keeping them in junior varsity, and I am on paper the only member of the varsity team.
so rather than bump them up to varsity, have them get slaughtered, kill their confidence, and kill any chances of them doing well next year, we're just foregoing the varsity team this year.
Yeah, also because it'd be really unfair to the goalie who actually made the junior varsity team because I'd just be kicking him out of his spot and leaving him in the same space I am. Um, so feels kind of unfair to do that to him. So instead, I'm going to go there and I'm going to cheat relentlessly for them and get them to competition. So yeah,
Nathan, with a completely straight face, just goes, "Yeah, it doesn't really feel good to get slaughtered."
yeah, no, it doesn't. So you guys,
Yeah.
I know you guys read the book thing, but I've been playing around. Um, so you remember when I burned all my old hockey gear and stuff? One of the influences I got was athletes, and I've been playing with it here and there, and I can both strengthen and manipulate athletes. And you want to know what opposing hockey players are?
Mm.
So
Okay.
I think I could make kids miss shots if I got good enough at it. It'd be burning some plasm, but hey, anyone, nobody said angels in the outfield looked like a bad thing.
Now it's just dead people in the dugout.
Angels in the outfield is kind of a deep cut.
What, you didn't think that Ty would have seen some obscure sports movies? Anyways, so Ty shrugs and sits down in the car. So, we're going to hell, huh?
I mean, I thought we were getting a break from here for a little bit and going to the underworld.
All right. Does Myrtle have the day off today? I think we were talking about taking them with us.
It's a Wednesday, after school hours. If you want to take her to the underworld, sure. Sounds like a decent idea.
What do you guys think? Do you think that's a good idea?
Sure. I don't see why not.
We can go there, open up the Avernian gate, let them know that we'll be there, and they can meet us, and we can lead them on through.
Do you want to bring any other crew members or just Myrtle?
Um,
I'd like to bring money bags.
if Gus has time, he's been really helpful. I know he's wanted to talk to us about stuff. Does he have time?
Yeah, so it shouldn't be a problem to round up money bags and Gus as well.
All right. I make a phone call to Myrtle's office and tell them about where we're going to be, and we do our best to beat them there. So we've got the Vernian gate open before they are, and we round up the others and head there. We are not
Want me to take
opening
the
the
bashing
Avernian.
damage?
We are not opening Avernian gates in front of anyone who isn't already dead.
All right, on that note, can I have you roll me a chance die, please?
Sure. I'm feeling super lucky. Which, I mean, I'm not at all, but, you know. That's a 2. Don't look too lucky.
All right, in that case, I'm going to ask you to roll in order to specifically conceal the method of opening the Avernian gate post open.
Okay. Um, does any of you have a good stealth, perhaps?
I have stealth and subterfuge.
Both of those sound like a good idea. Do,
Or
I would say
or
this would be more of a larceny roll.
does
can
anyone?
I pitch something completely different?
Hmm?
I would like to I would like to pitch presence plus expression because I would like to put on a big show that she can't look away from while they're actually opening the gate.
So you're trying to distract.
Yes, I'm going to pretend that I am opening the gate by reciting random gibberish.
Okay, you can make that roll.
Hey Tibbs, I almost
Mhm.
guarantee you have a better stealth roll than I do.
All right. And what was the role that Kenny proposed?
I was saying that this would be more of a
Larceny, I think you said.
larceny roll. I would say maybe resolve plus larceny.
I'm doing luck die on that.
I'm at a 1.
I got
So
fuck all for larceny.
we're good kids.
Yeah.
So I guess this is your best shot then.
I mean, I could roll to assist,
Actually,
or did Lex already roll?
Nathan has already rolled
Okay, never mind that.
one success. So, despite your best intentions, when you arrive at the cemetery, Myrtle is already there and she is enthusiastically investigating the grounds. The ghosts that haunt the place are following along uh, with great interest. The Mad Undertaker is watching from a distance, his eyes gleaming underneath his hat. He waves as he watches the three of you come in and calls out, "Friend of yours?"
Uh,
pointing at Myrtle.
yes, she's the newest member of the crew, actually.
I thought so, considering how she's been poking around. Uh, she's been here for a good 10 minutes.
Wow, she moves fast. Next time I'll get here and call her second. Um, all right. Uh, you guys go keep her busy, and I'm gonna go open up the door.
Nathan, you did roll one success. So please describe to us how you're going to distract Myrtle while Ty opens the Avernian gate here.
So Nathan does have a competition coming up, so he has been practicing in his down periods, but he is in a new event called Duo Interpretation, where he has a partner, and they basically have to semi aggrandize this little poem or little piece of work. But anyway, this does lead to him having a black robe in his backpack because he is supposed to be the personification of death in this piece. So he has this black robe, and he has a stand-in for an athame, which is really just a kitchen knife with the sheath glued on. And he starts waving it around and chanting in ancient Latin, words that he doesn't even really understand how they fit together. But he does start conjugating the verb to be in a rhythmic tone to open the gate, moving around and covering her face with all sorts of things to get in between her and what they're actually doing.
And I walk over and behind my enormous fucking body, write the letters, and then once it has started open the gate, rub my arm down to cover up the all the times it's been written down there. It's just dust, it'll wipe away.
Myrtle Flynn has falls for the bait and enthusiastically attempts to write down the chant. While this is going on, the ghostly members of the crew have arrived. Uh, Gus and Moneybags. Uh, Gus leads the other ghosts through the cemetery. Uh, he occasionally stops to wave at or greet a ghost who's hanging around. Uh, giving them an occasional smile, flashing his goat horns. Moneybags is much more excitable. He's looking around extremely nervously, clutching his tattered rags as if he's afraid someone might attempt to steal them.
Hey, money bags. Come on. We got you.
I can't hear you.
Hello? Testing 1, 2, 3.
I hear you now.
Hey, money bags. Come on. We got a trip to make downstairs. Got some stuff we're expecting to find. Uh, don't believe you've gotten an opportunity to meet, but I think we'll save introductions for once we get inside.
Myrtle looks up at the Ty speaking. So these are some of the ghosts from that dinner ritual that you enacted uh, for me the other day.
Yep. And you're going to get to meet them in about 5 minutes because ghosts are physical objects in the underworld. Speaking of which, ghosts operate properly down here, and they can harm you down there. And you are made of stuff that is rare as rocking horse shit down there. Do not go down here without us, even if you find a way down. Do not run off from us. Stay near us or one of the ghosts at all times. We operate on the
And
buddy
don't
system here because the last time any of us got separated, all of us died.
and don't touch the water.
Bad juju. Real bad juju.
Myrtle narrows her eyes at the prohibition against going into the underworld alone, but nods curtly.
Listen, if you want to explore, I'll make time. Absolutely. I'm interested too. I just. This place ain't good for people. We nearly got killed the first time we went down here.
By what? She asks interestedly.
By a shitty fucking priest.
Reaper.
Uh,
They make sure people don't leave here. And I am properly armed this time. I was not last time. But I'll show you that in like 3 or 4 seconds. Come on, doorway's open. Don't know how long it stays open. Don't want to find out.
The group leads their crewmates down through the mausoleum and down the winding staircase below. The water trickles down from the mortal realm, running a groove through the stairs. Before you know it, eventually, you're on the ground level. During the climb, you noticed that Myrtle did her best to try to look behind her to see the ghosts, but a combination of age and the narrowness of the stairwell made that basically impossible. The moment she steps onto the solid ground of the underworld, she turns around to look at Gus and Moneybags in their full spectral glory.
So, let's make some introductions. Moneybags, Gus, this is Myrtle. Myrtle, this is Moneybags, this is Gus. Gus was one of the first nice people to find us shortly after we died, and no, we don't know what's going on with the goat horns, and it is apparently none of our business. Um, and Moneybags is a friend of ours we ran into who we've been helping through a difficult situation. And he's been helping us an awful lot. Thank you, Moneybags. And of course, this is Myrtle Flynn, who runs the local newspaper.
Moneybags takes off his hat. It looks as though once upon a time it might have been a very nice top hat, but the years have been unkind to it. Ah, and it is not just in tatters like Moneybags' normal rags. The entire top half of the hat appears to have been gnawed off, uh, as has the ribbon around that was once tied around it. Uh, the brim, likewise, has been torn to shreds. So it resembles not so much a top hat anymore uh, than a uh, very sad version of a paper fast food crown. Charmed, madame, says Moneybags, bowing as low as he can. Gus rolls his eyes. Well, ma'am, it's nice to say hello in the flesh, but the kids here are correct. If you spend too much time staring at us and not the road ahead of you, something's going to grab you.
So,
Myrtle responds by immediately picking out her pencil and notebook and asking for what sort of things could grab me down here.
so let's have a quick safety lesson. So, pencils at the ready. First off, if you see anything that doesn't look like a people or anything you saw upstairs, that is the most dangerous thing down here and you need to not touch it, especially if it looks like it's got skulls all over it. Those are called Chthonians, and they will straight up kill you. We do not have the capacity to do any reasonable harm to them. No, not even us. No, not whatever pistol or whatever you've packed in your pocket. No, probably not the local military. This is not something we're going to fuck around with, and they don't probably want to hurt us unless we do something stupid like touch the water. Secondly, don't touch the water. I will repeat this 100 times. I know you're going to get tired of hearing it. Don't touch the water. Don't get in the water. Don't swim under any circumstances. It's real bad juju. And last thing, ghosts are people. People who could be dangerous. There are some especially dangerous versions down here. If you see anybody wearing a weird looking mask, that's an especially big problem. But honestly, everyone here wants what you're made out of. And some of them can go ahead and take it. So you might not want to let them touch you. It's a rough time to be made out of flesh and blood down here. So make sure you got your danger buddy with you if you're ever going to be hanging out down here. Because this is not a safe place for mortals. But you've got some skills that I don't have. Because at the end of the day, I am a teenager who's just barely making it through his classes. And you have a full ass job working for the newspaper. I bet you're probably smarter than me.
Well, it's not like I can publish any of this, she says.
Yeah, but I bet you can get a lot of leads on stuff where you could look for things to publish. Ain't that how the FBI works? They get some stuff illegally and then they trace that back to information they can use to find.
No comment, she says sourly.
You get me then. Anyways, we had a real treat planned for you today. But first off, we got to go see a couple of things and make that happen. So let's march on down. I'm going to take up the rear. Ethan, you got the front?
Yeah, I think th think I know the way.
All right. Now let's move.
Uh,
Sorry, Nathan?
What's up?
one last thing. Yes, you can pay in memories. Don't do it to any important ones. Don't trade away important memories.
Let's just say it's going to be real hard to get anything you want back. This ain't a pawn shop. They don't hold on to anything for long. And they will be gone forever. Anyways, so let's get moving.
All right. The trip from the Avernian Gate to Purgatory Junction doesn't take all that long, especially now that you're familiar enough to know the way. Where exactly were you wanting to go?
Well, the first thing we're going to be taking a look at is seeing if our dear friend had found any trace ace of Grandpa, I thought, or did we want to go stop at the place we wanted to bring Myrtle, which is the place with all of the lost documents?
The bookstore.
Yeah.
I don't see why we can't. I think based on how we did it last time, the guy we gave all the flyers to
Is
is
on the
on
way.
the way to the bookstore.
So yeah, let's go see him first.
All right. The crew heads to the chicken stand that has become familiar.
I
Uh,
imagine it's got some new products for sale.
the stand isn't as familiar any as it was anymore. Uh, you notice that Letty's cage is empty. Likewise, the sign on the stand has been changed to Letty's Express. Rather than Cookie behind the stand, there is a nervous-looking young ghost. It appears to be somewhere around his 20s, um, with a thrown together uniform and what appears to be a paper hat, handling a few chicken skewers, but several more beef skewers and other small bits that he can hand out to passersby. Uh, as you approach, he looks up, bites his bottom lip, and then goes, hello, welcome to Letty's Express, where you can get the something to eat quicker than any other place in the un underworld. How may I help you?
Hey there. We're good friends of Cookie, and we were just wondering where he's setting up shop these days.
Oh, Mr. Cookie. He's in the main branch in the Dead Mall now.
Ah, well, we were just heading there. So, thank you very much. You're doing a good job, kid. But calm down. You got this.
Thanks, he says, looking around. He leans forward conspiratorially and said, You know, I wouldn't have ever taken a bath with a toaster if I knew I were going to be working fast food on this side of the veil, too.
All sorts of decisions would be different with a little bit of knowledge, eh?
He sighs. Yep, but, have a Letty's day, he says, sighing.
You too, kid. Um, do you have one of those granola bars?
Yeah, I do. I pull one out of my backpack.
Please slide that across the counter. One, he was helpful. Two, I have not felt more sad for, well, I human being is still probably accurate in my life. Um, Ending up in fast food in the afterlife is a special kind of hell, and we're going to
You know
just keep
what?
moving.
You're right. I pull out the granola bar, but I look at this guy and I take it back and I pull out the 3 pack of peanut butter cups instead. This was supposed to be mine, but I feel like you need it.
Oh, wow, says the food worker. He happily takes the candy bar uh, and begins ripping off into it. Oh, it actually tastes good. Too bad that it's about as nourishing as candy was up topside, but it tastes so much better than anything else that I've eaten since I died. Thank you.
No problem, man. See you next time.
You still need nourishment?
Yeah, they need the plasm, remember? Uh, uh,
Oh,
Essence. But yeah, um,
okay. Well, I pass him a ghostly granola bar too.
His face lights up again. Wow. Uh, I am the boss lets me have one skewer a day. This is my lucky day.
Well, we'll keep an eye out for you, and you just keep an eye out for us, eh?
No problem, folks. Um, the boss named me Gopher, so if there's anything I can do for you, you know where to find me.
You got it, Gopher. I'm gonna get going. Hey guys. Looks like we're headed to the Dead Mall. This was actually what I was looking forward to showing you, Myrtle. You are going to lose your mind.
Should
Myrtle
I?
raise
Sorry, go ahead.
Myrtle raises an eyebrow and says, "Dead Mall. So, do they like puns here or something?"
Who
Listen,
doesn't?
listen. If you were also trapped in an afterlife that had day jobs, I think that a case of mild punning would be at the minimum amount of comfort you could provide yourself.
Alrighty. Nathan, Ethan, which one of you would like to roll a chance die?
Oh, me. Is that okay,
Okay.
Tibbs?
Yeah,
That
go for it.
that means you're on deck, Dibs.
Yep.
Hey, better than I did.
I rolled a 3, which is not a 1 or a 2, so I think that that should be considered a nominal success.
As the crew makes their way to the Dead Mall, with Myrtle and Moneybags looking around everywhere, with extremely contrasting expressions of interest and horror, uh, your happy, merry little band is confronted by a small group of ghosts. Um, while they're generally wearing the same kinds of rags that most of the ghosts in the underworld are forced to wear, the things that set these folks apart is that uh, they have each uh, hung around their necks a crucifix. Now, considering this clear state of poverty they're in, these crucifixes are generally made of whatever bits of trash they can scavenge, a shoestring to hang it on, and a couple popsicle sticks, things like that. But they are crucifixes nonetheless. Um, one of them steps forward, seeing you, and goes, "Shame, shame! You have brought more poor benighted mortals into the realm of death."
I would suggest that you get out of my way this very second, or I will make sure that you do not make that same mistake again. I will count to 5.
Presence plus intimidation, please.
All right.
Can I assist?
I would assume this
Yes.
is physical intimidation, yes?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll let you use stamina instead of presence if that's what you're asking.
Oh,
An additional die from me.
I was actually asking for the physical whatchamacallit. I have the specialty physical on there, but I'll take the stamina.
Sure.
All right. So roll. So that's 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 7 plus 1 from Nathan, I
Yep.
believe. So that's 8. I think re-rolling that is a better choice, so I'm going to leave my willpower alone. I am so glad I did that. That didn't happen.
All right. Spend your willpower and re-roll.
What? What?
I'll let you spend one more willpower on this. This is an exception because I pity that roll.
That is the most pathetic roll I've ever made. Uh,
Be glad this is Chronicles and not World because you rolled 3 1s.
all right. Well, that's slightly different. Okay, 3 successes.
Jeez.
Wow, guys, that may be the worst dice rolling I've ever done.
Wow.
Um, thank God I've got so much fucking willpower. Resolve plus
Uh,
composure, baby.
the group of ghosts barring your way step back. The one who had stepped forward to speak turns to address the rest of them. See how the sin eaters behave. They are reckless and have no care for the lives of mortals, those they bring here into the realm of death, and those that they inflict their presence on in the world above. This they do not deserve Father Calavera's grace.
You're welcome to think what you like. We're moving on.
I thought
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, Ethan. Go right on ahead.
I thought it wasn't I thought grace doesn't come from a man, or in this case a ghost, but from God. So if we are given the ability to come and go, something that is exceptionally rare, this is would that not be a blessing from God?
God has decreed that you are to die, and yet you have cheated death by making a deal with one of those filthy geists, a ghost who seeks to circumvent God's law.
And yet
Wait,
yet God created an existence where that kind of deal was possible.
Ethan, they're fanatics. You're not going to get through with them.
All right, all right.
Kenny.
The ghost frowns. Geists don't come into existence because of anything God wants. They come into existence because they drink the river waters.
Oh,
Any of
so
them,
all right. I'm done listening to blasphemers. Let's go.
Kenny.
yes,
I'd like to roll composure plus expression with my specialty in debate.
sure.
What are you attempting to do? Also, I love that one of the better rolls we've got around this
You're
table is composure, apparently.
you're in the afterlife. Have you met God? Does God really exist? Is this man just taking away your entire afterlife to teach you about a fairy tale and keep you docile and in line? You're already dead. There is no God.
Let's get moving.
Uh, Give me just a moment to see how this pans out.
Well,
2 successes.
I was not expecting that swing. Way to go. Um, Yikes.
You got 2 successes, so
Is this a JRPG?
Uh, breaking point?
not for you. The ghost who you was addressing you shrieks in anger and makes to leap forward before the other ghosts wearing the crucifix around their neck uh, grab him by his arms and haul him bodily back. There is a time and a place for this, and it is not now. Father Calavera left us to try to reason with you, and this is what you do. You've cheated death. You're so selfish.
We are each are called upon to make the actions of our hearts and do what we must in the world that God has given us and in the ways that we have fallen. I seek my own salvation through my works, and I will do my best to be a light upon this world. Amen. Let us walk.
As the other ghosts drag the uh, angry one away, he spits on. He attempts to spit on Nathan. Can I get a dexterity plus athletics roll?
Nathan,
Yes.
So
Willpower to reroll.
If you
really don't
wish.
really don't want to get spat on, huh?
see,
Wow!
really don't
Matrix
want to get
dodge.
Okay.
exceptional success.
Uh,
The dice are having a weird sense of humor tonight, guys.
Nathan sidesteps uh, the loogie hawked at him. Uh, the blue glow of his Geist partner uh, appears in his chest, and the prom queen uh, shows up floating and translucent, hair all floating around her head as though she were underwater. She screeches at the ghosts as they make O2 go away. Uh, she reaches towards her chest, and you can see the wound of her mutilation forming on her chest and stomach as she drags her fingernails down. Uh, she rips the stomach of her dress and pulls out her intestine in an attempt to uh, uh, lasso the fleeing ghosts. Not that this would work, considering that the projection that your geists create is just that, a projection. But at the sight of an angry geist, the church-going ghosts uh, immediately make a run for it. Even the angry one being dragged by his ankle. You are free to leave.
Let's
Thank you,
get
Prom
ourselves
Queen.
where we're actually going, guys.
Yeah.
So we head on to the Dead Mall. Um, by the way, at some point, I'm sure that the non-ghostly member of our party will have noticed that while we were tripping down here, suddenly became visibly wearing a bunch of hockey gear. I don't know if that is of interest to them, but I am in my gear except for my skates because they don't work down here. At least not until winter comes. Don't know if it freezes down here.
Myrtle makes some passing question about whether the gear that you're wearing is also ghostly, and if that means that there can be inanimate object ghosts.
Yes, there can be. And these all used to be my hockey gear, and I deliberately turned them into ghosts.
She mutters about how interesting that is and writes it down in her notebook.
Oh, trust me, this is going to become very relevant to your interests very soon.
Well, we were going to head to Cookies first, but honestly, guys, think we gotta I think we gotta take her to the bookstore. I've
Yeah,
been waiting
definitely.
to see the expression on this woman's face at the bookstore since we finally got her on the team because she's going to be able to make a lot better use out of this place and know what to ask for way more than we do. So we head to the Dead Mall and we beeline it for the bookstore.
As you arrive at the Dead Mall, Myrtle's interest is immediately piqued. She points up at it and says, "That's just the Whispering Peaks Mall. They demolished it in 2008.
Uh huh. Objects have ghosts. Didn't we just go over this?
Buildings and places too."
I mean, those are objects, aren't they? A building's just a big object.
She nods, hurriedly writing everything down that you're saying in her notebook.
Yeah, but
So, is it the same inside?
mm,
There's new
structurally,
shops.
structurally, yes. But there's not a hot topic here. You get me?
She nods, continuing to write.
But there is something that you specifically are going to love. In fact, it's the reason you're along today. We want your help with the other stuff, sure, but this is the main reason you're here today. Because you are going to love this. And we head up to the bookstore to show her that.
Moneybags uh, asks Gus to uh, explain uh, in a whisper, and Gus, doing his best not to ruin any surprise, tells him what he can in a quiet whisper. Myrtle does not notice, being far too engrossed in gawking at all of the ghosts going about their business here.
Speaking of which, this dead mall is where we got that ring we brought by the first time we made our introductions.
She raises an eyebrow. I wonder how it got here. That was buried with my husband when he died 5 years back.
Probably with him then.
But that wasn't a ghost ring, was it?
No.
I mean,
Sometimes real stuff makes it down here. We've got some plastic bottles that made it here too. Listen, man, I don't know how all this works. We're figuring out same as you. I've got like a month lead on you at best.
Myrtle is chewing her lower lip. I wonder if I could get the Russos to uh, exhume him. See if the ring is missing from his corpse.
I mean,
It's got to be logically, right?
otherwise this is some magical way of duplicating precious stones, in which case, I don't think we should still kill people to do that, but it'd be interesting. Nonetheless, let's take a quick. Maybe you could talk about having him moved into one of the what's the thing? The bone boxes. You know what I mean?
the
Uh,
mausoleum?
yeah, one of those. Be the sanest reason to be doing that.
She nods, continuing to write.
Anyways, behold, I think this might be the closest thing to a mecca for you.
She looks up. A bookstore?
This is
And
full
what
of every document that washes down here after it's been destroyed that they can find.
it's a it's a bookstore of destroyed books.
Not just books, documents, paperworks, medical documents, shredded files, anything that might have gotten destroyed by somebody who didn't want people to read it. I can't imagine there wouldn't be anything of interest to you here.
Yeah, I think we found was it a destroyed paper documents on on murder cases
Yeah,
last
specifically
time we were here?
specifically the one about oh say that murder back on the back at the old high school gym. You know that one. You know the pre-redacted one.
Hmm. Hey, thanks for the
Hey!
follow.
Thank you for the follow. We all appreciate it.
Thank you, Wood School.
Thank you. Would SKW 33?
So yeah, take a look. We brought some stuff in case you find something that suits your fancy. But I don't know. If you don't like it, I'm sure we can find something else for you to do here. I mean, we do have a whole dead mall, but let's go in.
Under your supervision, Myrtle is happily checking through everything on the shelves she's allowed to touch. And when she finds the secret section, she spends uh, quite some time arguing with the ghost behind the counter, asking about things like police files. The ghost seems to be a little taken aback that this is a flesh and blood mortal, not one of you sin eaters, uh,
She's with.
doing this.
Sorry, she's with us. We'll be settling the tab. Don't you worry.
Uh, she asks for any of the most recent police reports that have arrived. Uh, the ghost behind the counter uh, happily hands over a few files, but before she can touch them, he says, "Payment first."
All right. Um, I reach into. So these guys were taking food last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I reach into my bag and, with a big ol' stupid fucking and smile, pull out what I prepped for today, which was three uh, the personal pan pizzas from Papa John's, one of which is ghostly because I had stomped on one of them and turned it into, spiritual nature, while the others are physical. I set them on the counter. This cover much of our tab?
The ghost hurriedly just hands the files across the counter to you, um, looking around him as though he wants to make sure no one else has seen the exchange as he takes the food and puts it underneath the counter.
Pleasure doing business with you. So, Myrtle, I got some good news and I got some bad news for you. Good news is, as long
Okay.
as you are down here, you can read those files. The bad news is, the moment we leave here, if you carry those files with you, you will not be able to read them, you will not be able to touch them, and they will do their best to fall away into the underworld the moment you walk away from us. But we can hang on to them and we can read them for you. Um, Golden plates thing, Mormons. I don't know how to explain this, but it's still a ghostly object. Um, so it's gonna be a ghost when we leave here. But we can hang on to them for you if you need us to.
Well, if I can't hang on to them, then I guess that makes sense.
Regardless, I might suggest taking some time here and reading them as we go along. They're still physical as long as we're all in the underworld.
If I remember correctly, we couldn't take pictures of the documents either, correct?
Yeah, I don't think I allowed that.
Okay. So you'll have to transcribe anything you want to keep information wise.
That isn't a problem. I just need table to work at.
I'm sure we can sort something out for you. Meanwhile, how about we go head over to Letty's? I'm sure that there's going to be somewhere to sit down for that, and you can chill with the boys while we bother Cookie for a minute. Just some business we need to get up to, looking in on Grandpa.
Leaving the bookstore, it doesn't take very long to find where Cookie has went. There is a large restaurant that has taken a recent residence here, uh, with an very elaborate sign for a anything in the dead mall. Uh, it looks like they must have gotten a proper artist to do calligraphy and a drawing for it. It says Letty's in cursive with a picture of a chicken winking. Uh, you note a couple of Cookie's signature toughs standing outside, um, wearing mismatched but surprisingly nice tuxedos.
I smi
Uh,
I smile and walk in
Red,
like I own the place.
Perception roll, real quick, please.
All right. That's wits plus composure. Last I checked, so that's 7 dice.
are we all rolling or just Jeff?
2 successes.
Just Jeff?
Whoever wants to make it.
Alrighty, let's see here. Wits and composure, you say? Hey, 1 success.
The crew notices that the guards, as clearly large, angry, and muscular as they are doing their best to give Ethan a wide berth.
Well, Ethan is a scare.
Uh, Go
Well,
ahead.
Ethan, I'm gonna ask a small, all polite question of you this time.
Yep.
Be chill today.
Okay.
He's doing us a favor, so be chill.
Yeah. Yep. I just
I get you. I get
I
you.
know how business types can be.
I understand. And you made your point. And we don't ever have to make it again unless he gives us a reason.
Exactly.
So let's keep going. I'm all smiles. I'm approaching.
Reservation for 6?
The inside of the restaurant is quite possibly one of the nicest areas you've seen in the underworld. Um, some of the tables actually match,
Wow.
um, but mostly whatever furniture they've found has been scraped together. Unlike some of what you've seen outside, things don't seem to be cobbled together out of trash. These appear to be explicitly be cast off tables and chairs. Uh, Likewise, they have procured lamps and candelabras to provide some ambiance. Uh, there are a multitude of wealthy ghosts inside dining, and there's even a few small band providing live music, if you could call it that. At the bar, you find Cookie happily polishing up some glass and wiping off some menus. Uh, he smiles when he sees the three of you uh, and says, I see you brought another live one down here.
We had somebody with a particular set of skills who we wanted to make sure they got to use them. But hey, I figured I'd stop in to see my favorite friend down here and see if there's anything else you're looking for. It looks like the business is doing well. I love the new place.
Do you know how much meat you can get off a single cow?
I'm told it's like well over 100 pounds.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I can slaughter that cow once a day.
Bet you're doing real well with that. So, just let me know if you need some variety around the place.
speaking of which, I wanted to apologize for my rough behavior last time. And
We got shot on the way
uh,
out our first trip down there, and he was feeling a little twitchy.
yeah. So I brought you something to as way of an apology. Bag of salt, bag of pepper, and a bag of thyme.
Ooh. Cookie hurriedly grabs them and puts them under the bar.
Like
This,
actual, not ghost.
this sort of thing, stuff that I can do with it. Um, I'm not surprised to hear that you were having some problems after you left. Some folks made a real stink about Father Calavera heading topside. Everybody who goes to his church is pretty upset about him leaving.
Trust me, we're pretty upset about it too. Don't worry, we'll get him back down here as soon as we can.
He shrugs. If you can, no one ever thought he would leave in the first place. You know, he
Oh,
thinks this place down here is purgatory.
I mean,
Yeah.
name on the
So,
signs.
that's okay. I have plans.
No, the big place, purgatory, where you're cleansed of sins.
Well, then suppose we'll just have to have a difference of opinion on that. So, I know it's only been a couple of days, but since we're already stopping by, I figured I'd ask. And anybody stop in about those papers we had you pass around?
Uh, a bunch, actually. He shrugs. I've been giving away steaks for free in order to get info, and woo, I've definitely given away a good 10, 15 pounds of meat.
I do apologize. Um, appreciate you though. So what'd you learn?
Well, he says, leaning back, I'd never seen the guy, but uh, I got a good few tidbits. Um, I got some information about his name, profession. Well, you know, whatever they call him. You know, we ain't got no names down here, not real ones anyway. And I also met the person who says they saw him last.
Well, damn. Sounds like you did an incredible job. Speaking of which, anything you've been needing around here? Sounds like you did a lot of expansion. Don't know if you've noticed any problems you might want sorted out. I'm always eager to help.
Well, I don't know if I could get too greedy, he says, rubbing his chin. Like, this has already been a big boon. But if you were interested in helping, uh, maybe some sort of side dish. What I've been doing so far, um, I spoke to Lord Gilskull's chef and I got some of their recipes. The rich down here, they don't like to remember that they're ghosts like the lot of us. They don't like having to eat cast-offs to have another day going. They tend to take the best of the best for themselves. So like I got some recipes for like faux pasta made out of newspaper, stuff like that. Um, Various sauces that can be made with some of the grasses and stuff down here. But something reliable
Question.
like oh potatoes,
Do
that
you
would go a long way.
you probably know this better than me. Has there been like a ghost tree down here? Do they still like grow and like put out fruit or anything?
I've heard tell, but I haven't seen any in the junction.
'Cause don't know how I could manage it, but like maybe if we could get some seeds down here, we could see if we could try growing some stuff, if you could get some private area to work with. 'Cause I mean, if you could grow some ghost potatoes or something, that'd be pretty good. Otherwise, I can just bring some bags down every once in a while.
He shrugs and says, I don't know if anything real would grow here. You've seen that there are some kind of plants down here, and they're edible for a given value of the word, but
I'm saying like if I crushed some seeds and made some ghost seeds, maybe those could grow in the soil down here.
it'd be worth trying.
Maybe if you found a little land to try this out on, we could bring some stuff down. I could see about chopping down a tree and see if we can transplant the ghost.
Sure, that'd be worth a try. Um, I know I've heard some of the travelers over at the other side talking about seeing stuff like fruit trees, uh, cornfields, things like that down here.
The other side?
Uh, the bar,
We'll have,
hotel and bar.
we'll have to take a swing by. Hey!
Hey,
That.
thank you, Stacks 918. We appreciate it.
All right. Well, so you said you had the info. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so uh, the ghost in question, they called him Honest Monty. He made a living playing cards at the other side. Um, Generally speaking, uh, the face that you gave me wasn't the face he's been wearing. And that led me to probably the last person to see him here. He gave me the story, but I think you're probably going to want to hear it from his lips.
Okay.
It's Snips the Moliator. He has a salon here in the Dead Mall too.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'll see about bringing some stuff down. We can try some things.
I already owe you so much, uh, more than I can repay. But if you're willing to give, I'm willing to take.
Listen,
I
man.
have a request.
Sure, I am
Can
your
you
humble servant. He smiles.
can you up Gopher's pay to 2 meals a day. He's a good kid.
He winces. Look, I don't know what he would do with that kind of food. Like, I give him enough to keep his essence strong and to keep him from falling into the floor, but you drive a hard bargain. Fine. The kid can eat in the morning and at night.
Thank you.
It's not
Good.
like the meat goes bad anyway.
Don't worry. We're gonna keep making sure that food supplies are the last of your concern.
Yeah, and I suppose there'll be some spares since I'm no longer offering a reward. So I guess it'll work out. I mean, I guess I owe you that much. You didn't even ask for a cut.
We'll talk about stuff like that later. Mostly, I just want to make sure you're in a good place. It's always good to have friends who are, properly. Always good to have friends.
Uh, at the mention of talking about it later, uh, Cookie gives you a kind of resigned expression as though the other shoe has dropped. He nods and says, "Yep, it's important to make friends with the right people, especially when you know things are changing."
Don't worry. I'm not talking anything. I'm just talking for future stuff. We can talk about cuts then. But everything we've done now, I've negotiated fair across the table. I just wanted to help, and you helped me out a lot. Those memories already set me up real well. We've been we've been dealing right across the table, and I ain't gonna ask anything from you that ain't fair.
I'm not in a position to argue. We'll talk about it when we talk about it then.
Anyways, let's get going. So, hey Myrtle, you got enough down? We need to get going.
Uh, the Myrtle and the two ghosts get up from the table that they had commandeered. Myrtle had given Gus and Moneybags pen and paper and put them to work transcribing as well. Moneybags has surprisingly good handwriting considering the state of him. Uh, he gives a winning smile that looks like it would be much more at home in, say, the governor's mansion or a fancy ballroom, and certainly not at home on a face as dirty and worn as his. Uh, but Myrtle simply takes the papers and puts them in her purse.
Moneybags, can I ask a very stupid question?
Sure.
You got kind of an aesthetic going on, but I was wondering if I scared up some, properly spectral clothing for you, would that be useful for you?
That would be nice, he sighs. I've been wearing the same thing since I died.
I figured, and it looks like it's been through the wars and just don't fit you so well. I was just wondering if that's something you want me to take a look into.
Yeah, I suppose anything that you fellows could find would be nicer than what I'm wearing now, and I don't have to eat it anymore. So I would be grateful for anything.
Next time I get some proper cash around, I might swing by a men's warehouse and set some stuff on fire for you. Um, I turned to Myrtle. You look like an authority figure. Might have to ask you to watch some fires with me. Anyways, let's get going. We got a bar to stop by apparently. Um, so again, before we go here, shifty characters warning. Please don't get yourself possessed. I don't want to have to beat someone to death today. again.
So you've gotten two leads on Grandpa Cartwright. That he played, as a profession, he played cards at the other side, and that he was last seen at the salon owned by Snips the Moliator.
Right.
Where do
It
you
was.
want to go first?
Sounds like the story is
Or
probably. Sorry. Uh, it's your grandpa.
I'd like to talk to Snips. I don't want to go into possibly meeting my grandfather without a clue as to what he's up to.
alrighty. So, uh, having give getting the information from Cookie, uh, you walk around the dead mall until you find the salon. Uh, a string of Christmas lights has been twisted into a signage via the judicious use of string and nails, um, giving a light up gaudy sign, the sort that you would only see in certain places with very bad taste topside. The sign reads, "A New You" by Snips. Inside, in the windows, you can see a handful of ghosts sitting on scavenged chairs, looking through whatever reading material they have managed to find and not had to eat. There is a young female ghost sitting at a desk as a receptionist. Um, when one ghost does attempt to take a bite out of the magazine, she tosses a pencil at him, and he immediately puts it back down. You know how expensive those are, she says. If you want something to eat, go to the steakhouse. This is a salon, and the waiting room needs literature.
What magazine is it out of curiosity?
I couldn't quite hear that.
What magazine is it out of curiosity?
2015 edition of Teen Vogue.
Wow. Accurate. Down to the merest detail.
Oh, I've read that one. That one's good. We're here to see Snips.
The receptionist gives you a good look up and down. Uh, she sticks her hand into your aura. You can see the bluish tinge of death fade slightly from the hand that's within it. She sighs in contentment and takes it back out, with the bluish color of death returning almost immediately. Um, the artiste is busy, but for sin eaters such as yourself, we can make exceptions. Please go back.
Thank you very much. What can I call you?
Do you
Pinky. After she points up the color of her hair, which is dyed a bright and vibrant pink, and is set up in a beehive hairdo.
Completely out of character, but I am never gonna get beauty school dropout out of my head tonight.
Excuse me. Let me cleanse my head for just a moment. Narf! Sorry. Let us move on.
All right, so we head into the back.
Pinky ushers you through some curtains. The back is a bit of a grandiose statement. Whereas a salon you would think would normally have dozens of chairs attended by dozens of artists. Here, there is one large chair in a small mirrored room, mirrors on each side and on the ceiling. Um, One ghost sits in the chair while another works on them. The ghost who is doing the work of creating beauty uh, has has very curly hair, which he has styled into a faux pompadour, as well as a curly mustache and sharp beard that goes down into a point. Um, he's wearing um, some very loud clothing that looks like it was probably cobbled together from a Renaissance fair and perhaps even a gaudy wedding. A puffy shirt and a floor length coat uh, in leopard print. Uh, as he works on the ghost in the chair, you can see that he's holding up both of his hands and running them across the ghost's features. One hand like this, rubbing across the skin, and one in a scissors fashion that he brings up to the ghost, where he will pull up pieces of flesh or whatever needs to be changed, and then cut it away with his fingers. Uh, as he finishes up, you notice him tossing handfuls of flesh into a basket at the bottom. Uh, the ghost he is working on gets up out of the chair. Uh, they appear to have had their flesh completely removed, leaving nothing but a skeleton. This one a much more bright bluish white than Gilt Skull's golden version. Uh, the ghost looks at its newly freed skull from all angles in the mirrors and says, "Snips, you are a genius." "Oh, darling," he says, "I know. And look, right here, you had some bumps, but I smoothed them out. So you look like you came right off a science classroom hook. I don't know what I would ever do without you, Snips." "Oh, probably go for a swim in the Styx," says Snips. "Now get out of here, you, and pay at the counter." The newly minted skeleton practically skips their way out as Snips uh, picks up a box full of discarded spectral flesh and pours it down what looks like a laundry chute. Only at this point, turning around, does he notice the three of you. "Oh, look at those auras. They burn so clearly. You must be the sin eaters that have been the talk of the town. Well, what can old Snips do for you? I'm afraid I can't change the way that you look since you've got real flesh and not ghostly essence to work with. But I think I have a pair of scissors around if you want a haircut."
I was actually here to talk to you about Monty.
"I can't hear you."
I was actually here to talk to you about Monty.
"Oh," he says, raising a perfectly manicured eyebrow, folding his arms in front of him. "I thought that might happen after Cookie gave me a steak dinner last night for the story. So, apparently, according to Cookie, sounds like I was the last person to see Honest Monty alive. A dead, maybe.
Is he
Whatever."
is he gone now?
Uh, a little yes, a little no. See, he was in here for another session. He likes to change around his looks. You know how it is. Uh, Here in the underworld, ghosts are a little more plastic, a little more fluid than flesh is topside. So a lot of ghosts come looking for someone to change things. Maybe they want to be 20 again, or maybe they want to look real scary for someone topside, or maybe they just want the full snip job. That's been real popular these last few years. Uh, but Honest Monty, he was kind of an experimental guy. First time he came in, he asked for 50 years off. Then he came back and asked for another 10. Uh, by the by the time I'd gotten used to seeing him, he'd been asking for all sorts of different hairdos and hair colors. Uh, Real big fan of changing his face. Real big fan. He pulls up a couple of other plastic chairs, and motions for the three of you to sit on them while he goes and sits on the esthetician chair in the center of the room. He puts one leg over another and says, "So that's what Honest Monty was in here for last time I saw him about 6 months ago. So I was in the middle of trimming his earlobes. He wanted to try something a little pointier, so I was helping move some of the corpus from the lobes up to the top. And a few of Gilt Skull's men came in and dragged him off. That was the last time anyone's seen him, apparently.
Huh.
Let's go. Okay. Did they say anything?
Something along the lines of, uh, don't run, you're under arrest.
Okay.
Uh, so I don't know how much you guys understand of what goes on down here, but if he was arrested by Lord Giltskull, then he's either been exiled or if he's lucky, they stuck him in the pit.
Got anything to add, guys?
Hey.
Um,
Hey, Ethan.
hmm
Does your juju work down here?
Which one?
Boneyard.
I
Not
imagine it would.
not here. Not here. We're just here to ask this man for all this lovely help he's given. But I hate to ask the artiste. I'm sure you've got a lot going on. Is there a chance we could get a sketch of the face you last saw him in, just so we can recognize him when we find him?
Do my best. Paper and ink isn't really my medium, but I'll do what I can for you, honey.
Thank you so
He
much.
makes a pretty decent sketch of a face. Um, the face that he sketches out for you um, doesn't really look like what Nathan would remember his grandfather looking like. Um, Looks more like some supermodel out of GQ. The only thing that's really recognizable is the eyes, which seem to be exactly the same as Winston Cartwright had when he was still alive.
Lexi, I am trying not to step on your scene. May I ask some follow-up questions here?
Yeah, go. I said.
So, I notice you got a lot of changes here. Are eyes one of the things that don't change, or is that just something he's been keeping for his aesthetic?
Well, I can change eyes, but not a lot of ghosts want that sort of thing. Uh, Mainly, they say it's not really comfortable. And I get it. He reaches in and pulls out one of his own eyes, rubbing it in his hands and then popping it back into his skull. Uh, this one that he is now rubbed between his hands shows the slitted pupil of a cat.
Wow, you do some incredible work.
It's a gift, he shrugs. Some ghosts get the ability to molliate when they die. I guess I'm lucky. I can't I couldn't manifest topside, but I can do this, which means I can change the way I look or any ghost who wants to go under the knife looks.
We'll keep that.
Cool.
We'll keep that in mind. Thank you so much for taking time to talk with us. Who's
One
doing the
one
bribe this time? Sorry, didn't
I
mean to
got
step
it.
on you.
one last question. If you ha From what you know of Monty, if you had to guess, what do you think his crime was?
Probably scam somebody he shouldn't.
Okay.
He's been a real character around here ever since he arrived a couple of years ago. Been really living it up. But just like up above, uh, the best things in the afterlife aren't free. So he played a lot of cards over at the other side, and he wins an awful lot. Um, Sometimes he wandered off to do business with somebody or other. He would never tell. He says it's really important to keep client confidentiality. Uh, but he would roam pretty far from Purgatory Junction. I'm sure he's doing the best he can, but uh, if somebody was mad enough at him for what he took off of them, I can see the Lord Paramount getting a little defensive.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Anything else you guys need, honey?
Yeah, how do you guys have like text messengers or anything down here? How do you guys keep in touch?
Usually just give something to a honest looking ghost to deliver.
Okay. You may be hearing
Sometimes
from
they
me.
deliver. Well, that would be good. I'm always looking to do some business. Just a tip, make sure that the one you find is really honest looking, because sometimes the messengers will eat the note before they get it to the recipient.
Speaking of eating, Nathan pulls out a small Ziploc baggie of trail mix that his grandmother had made for him and hands it over.
Ooh, says Snips, taking it. So this is how Cookie got the steakhouse. Okay. I think we can do business again sometime. even if I can't give you the full job.
We make friends. It's always good to have people who know things. Be seeing you, Snips.
I will be right back.
So, let's have a quick summary of what happened and talk about plans, guys. So far, we had my conversation with my coach, which thank you all for sitting through. I know my subplots aren't the most exciting things, but I've got a path towards playing hockey again. And looks like uh, looks like we've got a couple good leads on your grandpa, Lex.
Yeah, it looks like my grandpa's a shady motherfucker.
Well, good news. You're still not going to have the worst parental relative kicking around this group.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
No, but
so
seriously, with the name Honest Monty, come on.
bet he's got at least 3 cards on him. Uh,
And
so
and a lockpick.
so sounds like what we want to do is go down to the bar, ask after him, see if anyone might have seen what went down. You know, on whatever faithful moment he made. Maybe get some more ideas about his behavior and character. Or are we just gonna go bother Guilt Skull directly?
I mean, we could just go murder Gilt Skull for
That
taking my
actually,
grandfather.
I mean, that
That's
does sound
that
like a
sounds
thing to do, but it does sound like a thing we'd want to bring an army for. Or at least me to be a little bit more geared up for violence today.
yeah.
I'm very sorry. I'm good.
It's sorry. Go ahead.
I can fight off a couple of dudes. Him and I could probably get us out of a room of however many toughs. I don't think I can beat an army to death.
We're not saying it's off the table. We're not saying that at all.
It's just
What we're
not
saying
today.
is, yeah, it's something that we need to prep for. You can't murder a a ruler on a whim. You gotta there's some build up to it.
If you're gonna go for the king, you can't miss.
Exactly.
But I do have one other idea. If we get close enough to the hole, we recently had a very interesting thing happen with our dear friend using the boneyard to look at places he physically wasn't.
Yeah.
So if you set the boneyard down the hole, you might be able to at least get a good look down there.
Should we set fire to Father Calavera's church on our way out?
I He's not down there, so he'll never hear about it. All I'll do is make
I
sure we have
mean,
plenty of enemies down here.
maybe he'd hear about it. That would maybe draw him back and out of our world.
Eh, all I'm glad to know is that we know he's up there, and that means I know where to be prepping for him. Speaking of which, I need you guys to be putting me on your speed dial on your phones.
Oh, yeah, of course. You already are.
Just the moment you take a look at him, I need you guys to run. We are not fighting him separately. I promise you, I feel the same for you guys. I would be calling you the moment the fight started, but I'm we currently don't have the juice to take him on solo. I don't, but I think together we could handle him.
So,
The other thing is, we did have another task we needed to come down here for, and it is 7 o'clock.
yeah.
Do we want to
So
go follow up on Grandpa this time, or do we want to go check out the remnants of the murder?
Let's do the thing we came down here for. We can check on Grandpa next time, or send ghosts to do it.
Okay. I imagine we could get the
the-
story from the bar on a day action. and we can use that as a follow-up from there.
Alrighty, I'm back, folks.
All
Sorry
right.
about that.
No worries.
So, looking at the time, I think we are going to go and see if we can't find the remnants of the murder that happened up above. The second exhibition killing.
Alright, so what's your logic here? Can I ask?
So, the first exhibition killing dropped a giant thing directly down on Purgatory Junction, which it sounded like was a decent distance away from wherever we want, and thus is probably directly under uh, the Cotton Winter Resort where all this happened. So there's probably somewhere associated with the theater around here physically that we could go find and check around that area and maybe find another drop point or something weird and changed down in the underworld.
Alrighty.
We do know a place to start looking because we know the physical location of the gate of the building next door.
Good point.
So we've at least got somewhere to start from.
Alrighty. Let's do a navigation roll in that case. Give me a second here. I want to see what that is, what stats that uses in the system.
And out of curiosity, if Nathan was to open his Google Maps app, where would it show him on the map? Would it show him like where the mall is?
I'm gonna have to say that that sort of thing wouldn't work down here. It would show the same location that you were when you left the mortal world.
Okay, so I'm still pinging at the Avernian Gate.
Yeah.
Like if you'd gone into
Oh,
airplane mode or whatever. Sorry, didn't mean to step on you, Ethan.
follow-up question. Are there any
Sure.
Wi-Fi? Are there any Wi-Fi available?
I think we've had a little talk off about this off screen, and as I stated then, if you found the machinery to do it, you could hook something
Mhm.
like that up. But no, there is currently no internet
Okay,
down
that's right.
here.
That's right. I remember now. Okay.
So, Tibbs, it sounds like what you want to do is an act of terrorism by knocking down a cell phone tower.
So we'll talk. We'll talk uh, offline about this, so that I don't want to slow things down any more than I already have.
So there's a few different ways to navigate in the underworld. Um, I think the most appropriate one here would be to either navigate by instinct or by using a key.
uh, Tibbs, you got anything you can set on fire, or am I shutting up for the rest of the session? Because the other one's going to happen when we're leaving. Because somebody's going to have to get us out the door.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a fun one you want.
You were looking for something to set on fire, right?
It's something precious as his own that he has to destroy if he uses that key. I don't know your doom conditions offhand, Lex. I'm sorry. I can get violently ill or I can shut up for mine. Uh, Tibbs can set something precious he owns on fire or kill something in the name of, sacrifice
Sacrifice some.
in the name of performing one of his goals. And I think you had blood and something else. I don't remember what they were. I'm sorry.
Blood and chance.
So chance is the next time you'd roll over 3 dice, you instead roll a chance die, and it's heaven or hell. Let's rock.
Yeah, let's do that. That'll be fun.
Honestly, chance die for finding something randomly in the underworld feels very appropriate.
All right. If you want to navigate by key, you roll the key's unlock attribute plus occult.
Oh, glad I'm
We know
not
what
going to
page
do it.
keys are on. I'm sorry.
This is on page 202, but you're looking for the keys, which those are on page 122, and the key of chance is specifically dexterity.
Okay, so I rolled dexterity plus what?
Occult.
Occult.
I'm thinking I might have to set something on fire.
2 successes.
Please describe what happens as you unlock the key of chance.
Uh, Nathan reaches into his pocket and literally just wishes for. He's been collecting keys every time he finds them. So he pulls one randomly out of his pocket and to see if it'll fit in the lock that has appeared.
All right. And this inflicts the doom condition on you, and the key brings you where you want to go.
Now,
Uh,
I should be fair and say you can spend a willpower right now and not get that doom condition. However, that does mean you can't get the XP from dealing with it. So,
Yeah, I got it. We're good.
sorry.
Nope, it's okay. I would like the XP. I want the beat.
We want the
Beat
beef.
me.
so the key takes you where you want to go. Um, it points in a direction, and as you follow it, eventually you get to a place where there's enough light that you can see on the edge of town a second massive chain hanging from the ceiling. Uh, this one goes all the way down to the ground, the same as the other one. But this is just on the edge of town, right before the riverbank. I presume that you want to follow it.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Okay. So you make your way to the chain. Just like the other tableau that was created, you find that the chain ends in a circular wooden platform with a hook on the bottom, which is dug deep into the soil of Purgatory Junction. Um, the platform is of a uniform, rich mahogany with a small plaque on it that says Death and the Miser. Looking on the platform, you find a eerie recreation of the office in the theater where Jared Dibbler was counting his money, as you saw on the surveillance tape. He sits at the desk and counts money here too, but far more of it and looking far, far more excited. Um, you also notice that the floor of the recreated office is covered in bones and skulls.
So, here's the things I've picked up immediately. Do you guys remember the previous dance floor? It was
Refresh the audience's memories.
so last time we had the marking was Dance Macabre, Danse Macabre. And on it were a bunch of our school friends in a circle dancing around and singing around the chain. Um, but the floor they were on was made of dozens of different kinds of flooring, just not matching at all. But here, with a solitary killing, there's only one type of flooring. I think this is smaller. Yes, this is substantially smaller.
Yeah,
I think each chunk of the flooring is something caused by the individual killing, and thus why the other one, because it was so many killings together, was so big and had so much contrasting elements. That's what I've got offhand. Um, can somebody with an occult roll worth a damn please take a swing at this thing? Because I ain't got hope in hell.
yeah.
Uh,
Feel free to investigate with whatever ability you might have access to.
all right. Intelligence plus occult. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Let's see how this does. Yeah,
All right, that's two successes.
yes.
Okay, so what are you looking for here?
So basically, um, I'm trying to think how to put this. Basically, I want to kind of uh ju what's the term, like compare uh the the mass tableau in my head to what is in front of me, and kind of note the where things are different, and uh the occult symbolism that I can glean from the deviations in the design, basically.
All righty, that makes sense. So first things first, you do note that as Ty was mentioning, uh, and as I mentioned myself, that the platform is made of a uniform type of wood, just one. Uh, the the actual tableau in front of you, um, when you look more closely at it, isn't a perfect recreation. Uh, just like the first one, there is a ring of symbols in the gold around the platform, and the note that the the area around Dibbler um, is only a good recreation of the office to a surface glance. looking more deeply, you can see uh, faint images of like screaming faces on the table and desk and even the areas off the floor. Uh,
Okay.
what strikes you the most about it is that this appears to be more intentionally made than the Danse Macabre that you saw last time.
Does he appear to be coherent at all?
Just like the other tableau, the occupant does not seem to notice you at all. Yes?
Um, I'm going to take some amount of money from the stack in front of him and physically pick it up.
Just gonna grab some?
Yeah, see what happens. You let me
Uh,
grab the people last time, so it's entirely possible that this will happen and he might react in some way.
there is no reaction whatsoever. After you leave the platform, the money held in your hand crumbles away to ash.
All right. I don't have a lot to add from an academic side, but I do have a sharp eye. So I'm going to see if there are any details I can notice that the smart people might pick up from. Would you let me roll just a straight perception roll at it?
Perception, investigation, whichever you feel more comfortable with.
All right.
Do you want to roll anything, Nathan, while we're here?
Um, I'm gonna pull $1 out of my pocket
Okay, what are you
from the
going to do
top
with it?
side. I'm gonna drop it into the tableau and see what happens.
Nothing seems to happen. The money is left on the floor, and after several minutes, it doesn't move, nor does Dibbler seem to notice.
Okay, I'm taking my dollar back because that's $1 and it's a good money.
It's a success. It's something.
Having once seen the painting by Hieronymus Bosch titled Death and the Miser, you note that there is not much in common with the actual painting the tableau is named for beyond the basic themes.
Actually, hey, one of you two that has a decent academics roll. Paintings is history. History is academics. One of you want to be smart at this for a minute?
Sure. Can I roll some wits plus academics?
Wits or intelligence plus academics makes sense to me.
Let me roll to assist. That's gonna be that. Okay. Two bonus dice.
Damn!
Exceptional success.
From an academic standpoint, an extremely close inspection of the tableau uh, reveals that aside from the ghost at its center, actually everything here looks to be hand painted, as if the ink had left a canvas. And and a very thorough examination of the markings around the edges also provides an interesting piece of information. Uh, what appeared at first to be random filigree, or perhaps um, very stylized runes. Uh, you actually realize you're looking at names written in Italian. Uh, Being a honor student as you are, you immediately recognize them as a list of the names of Leonardo da Vinci's various apprentices.
Okay. Um, Minerva, not Minerva, Myrtle is with us. So I tell everyone basically that this is a list in Italian of Leonardo da Vinci's apprentices.
Ty, having had the fact that this is a painted scene point out to him, is staring at everything in tense detail, realizing now what he's looking at. Um, you guys, is it all right if I want to go see if the other scene is painted too. I think I can get there pretty fast. You guys think you can handle this stuff on your own?
No, we are not splitting up.
Okay, I'll check it out sometime this week maybe.
I mean, we can all just go. It's not very far.
I just
The
thought,
guy with the eidetic memory could also roll to remember.
Yep.
oh right. I keep forgetting you've got one of the better skills in the game.
All right, let me look up the rules text on that.
Um, crap. So,
Also, Kenny, I'm paying a willpower to resolve my doom because I forgot about it and already rolled.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
sorry.
Sorry about that. You want to keep the clue, so I get that.
Oh, hold on a sec here. Where is
What an incredible clue. Way to go,
All right,
Lex.
here it is. Your eidetic memory, two dots. Your character recalls events and details with pinpoint accuracy. You do not have to make rolls for your character to remember past experiences. When making intelligence plus composure or relevant skill rolls to recall minute facts from swaths of information, take a +2 bonus. Now, I'm going to make you roll since you're looking for a tiny detail, but I
hmm
will let you have that +2 bonus. Let's say intelligence plus composure, or intelligence plus academics.
Which of
Okay.
those is a better role for you?
+2, of course.
Sophie's choice.
Um, I have 5 at intelligence plus composure if you want me to assist.
I so with the bonus, I'm rolling at a 10.
I don't think anyone can assist him in remembering things.
You know, that makes sense. I was just trying to help. Oh, never mind. I was completely irrelevant.
Ethan had taken a good close-up look here and there. The thing that strikes him is that the clothing that your classmates wore in the dance macabre, um, was since it wasn't the clothing they died in and was various costumes, he had taken a good look, and the stitches certainly looked painted on. But Ethan had earlier dismissed that as an irrelevant detail. Nothing else looked that way, since the platform itself was completely bare. All there was on it was the ghosts, the clothes they wore, and the chain leading upwards.
We might want to go back and take another look at the other one. The the stitching on the clothing was painted.
I
We we might be a, there might be some additional details that like with the filigree being people's names, there might be something to that stitching.
Why don't we come back down this week? We can come down and maybe take some notes. Um, I'm gonna check something real quick, and this is just stupid, but um, so they told me that climbing up the chain eventually just ran into the ceiling. And it just goes up there and it
Mhm.
just goes into and through the ceiling. There's not a way to go. It's not like connected up at the top. Just, it just keeps going. But the thing is, we didn't really interact with the chain itself much there because we just took it as chain. Um, I have interacted with a lot of metal. I'm pretty strong. I would like to see if I can see anything weird about this metal, if it responds to contact, if I can damage it at all like metal, or if this is some weird magic bullshit. Or maybe I can see something up close, so I'd like to try and investigate the metal. Is that okay?
That makes sense to me. Wits plus investigation.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Would you like assistance?
More than anything. I've got 4 on this die pool. It's not great.
I'm staying out of this one.
By the way, Tibbs, we have got to get you 1 die in investigation. 1 roll. Because that's
Oh,
going from a -3 to a +1. That's a huge step, and this has been coming up forever. I know how precious XP is, though. I get it.
well, the whole joke, kind of the part of the joke that I was going with this guy is that he doesn't he knows
Does
things, he just
pay
doesn't
attention.
yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I just. All right. So 5 dice. I would prefer to get a chance to re-roll that. Speaking of which, 1 success. Is there anything weird about the chain, or is it just a big old chain?
Looking at the chain up close, you notice that underneath the rust, you can just barely make out something inscribed on there. You can see that there's something there, but it's so covered in rust that it's hard to tell.
All right. Does anyone have any dots in crafts?
I have dots in survival. I could try to clean the rust off.
Hey there. Thank you.
Hey, Gaming X Enigma 1994, thank you for the subscribe,
Thank
the
you.
follow.
Yes.
Okay.
Not quite there yet. uh, hi. Are you more clever than I am at this problem, Ethan? Because that's not hard.
Okay. So I kind of have a trick that I've been using quite a bit. that might help with this.
Okay.
Boneyard? Because one of the things the boneyard can do is change things on a cosmetic level. So I might be able to use the boneyard on the
The chain.
to and be able to get up nice and close and see the absolute detail of everything about the chain. At least for a good long length of it, at least.
That seems like a great idea.
Okay.
Right? That'll be synergy plus boneyard.
Yep.
And
You turn in a key because
the
I've got
plat
our exit if you want it.
the platform itself is one plasm. If you want to get a few 100 feet up the chain, I'll say two plasm.
Okay. Um, yeah, so I'm going to okay, synergy plus boneyard. Yeah, I don't think I need to use the key this time. So you said two plasm?
Yeah, and I'm just looking here. I Where does it say that it can make the cosmetic changes? This would be easier to me for me to ask you than to look through it entirely.
It's under the condition.
Ah,
Boneyard's consciousness suffuses the haunted landscape. The walls imperceptibly shudder and make and shake as if they were breathing. Plasm in the environment seeps through into inanimate objects, infusing them with a small amount of the Sin Eater's awareness, allowing them to move with a life of their own. Pianos play as if automated lights flicker to life, and doors fling themselves open or lock them on their own accord. Animated objects are too clumsy, single-minded to single-minded. Wait, hold on a sec. Where was it?
It's the third effect. The Sin Eater may create minor cosmetic poltergeist effects
That's
in
what it
the
was.
boneyard. These effects can't be used to attack, but someone sticks their hand in a garbage disposal or whatever. So you can and make mild changes to the area around you.
yep,
Yeah.
it's there.
All right. Okay. So spending two plasm to get um and rolling, I got one success.
Okay. So you wanted to get rid of the rust, huh?
Yeah.
The rust on the chains falls off. Um, with the rust now removed, the group of you can see that the chains are covered in minute writing. Every single inch is inscribed with words. An examination of the inscription shows that it's in French.
Uh, excuse him, Myrtle?
Myrtle looks up, having from examining this area with the ghosts, finding this fascinating. Oh,
Uh,
yeah, kids?
you've got good shorthand and you've got a notebook on you. Could I ask you to do me a favor?
Sure.
Write down as much of these words. I underline a couple of them until she notices what I'm talking about, so that we can figure out what they are when we go up.
She immediately begins work, taking note of as much as possible and also getting a rubbing.
Smart, smart. That's probably way easier. You know, I, hanging out with you guys has made me realize why I'm managing C's at best right now, and I really appreciate that y'all are helping me out with all this stuff. I hope I'm still pulling my weight.
You're doing a great job.
All right. Um, so let's see here. Boneyard.
Uh, Ethan, you think you can go check out the dance sometime this week and see if you can't find anything else on the chains there? I don't know if any of the rest of us can do this trick. If it's the same stuff, that's interesting, and if it's different, that's more information, yeah?
Yeah. So yeah, I'll definitely have to head over and take a look at that when I have time.
All right. And would you like to roll a chance die?
Who?
One of you, just pick
I'm
one.
afraid that somebody's on deck this time.
Yep.
Alrighty. Let's continue.
That is the most eerie possible response I've ever had. Hey guys, you know what? I suddenly found myself feeling violently ill and I need to go home. We should ma-
Um,
we should make our way to the exits. Why don't we go to the exits? Why don't we leave?
well, okay. Do we have everything that we need? What we came here for?
We have examined this thing to minute detail. We have way more information on this thing than we ever had on the first one, and it gave us leads on the other one. There's no way we've got enough time to get back down there, investigate the thing, and get out before it's way past curfew.
All right. Yeah, let's start heading out. Oh man, if I'm
Because
glad.
Myrtle's car is going to be where we came in. We can't leave the current exit. We're going to need to go back to the cemetery. Also, let's
Fair
not
enough.
give Myrtle more weird information than necessary yet.
All right. So the group heads home, and this will be where the curtain falls for tonight.
I turn the key of silence and break open the Avernian gate.
Good point. Yes. So let's do our aspirations and everything. And those of you who've suffered a haunt condition, take your beat for resolving it. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Nathan, since you kind of fucked up on your haunt by forgetting the roll. That was me too. So what I'm gonna do is let that condition carry over to next session, so you can resolve the doom condition at your leisure to get that beat.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And did that count as a clue?
Yes.
All right. Way to go, everyone. You guys did amazing tonight. Holy crap, some of the stuff you pulled off tonight, Lex.
We all did amazing tonight. All right. You want to who's going first for aspirations?
And when nobody wants to talk, it's always my job to speak loudly. Ty's aspirations: get scouted for college hockey. I think I made several very important steps towards that. I think we might be getting close to getting the first response from anybody about letting me start trying to get proven. So I think that was a definite step.
Hmm.
Um, Find the son of a bitch who took everything from me. We got a new clue tonight. We did a bunch of investigation. Heck, we've got clues about where other clues might be now. Because we found out about the painting and where words might be. So that's huge. I think we made another huge step towards finding the son of a bitch. Not to mention, I also have gotten the lead on Johnny Walker, who we need to follow up on. Help a friend with a personal quest. Hey, Lex, was I helpful tonight?
Very much so.
Check for a fallen object.
Yep.
And learn more about the afterlife. Uh, did you know that ghosts can, like, have their faces remade? Because I didn't fucking know that before tonight.
That's
It
a little
is
creepy.
the dread. It's actually a dread power of ghosts in the book.
Cool.
So I thought it just made sense that ghosts might make use of it for more cosmetic purposes as well.
I fucking love it.
That makes sense.
In the
All right. So get out of Whispering Peaks. I mean, I'm starting. I'm I am working with someone who presumably has a lot of connections outside of Whispering Peaks.
Hmm.
So, um,
Makes sense to me.
world record speed run. I did another speed run stream. Slowly getting better there. Learn the rules of the game. Learning more and more about how the un underworld works every single time. And then lastly, stick it to the man. I spent an entire day in the uh, spent an entire day with the police trying to get something out of me, and they didn't. I think that counts.
Good point. Yep.
That's me.
Okay. So I think that all of the things that we've uncovered about these two tableaus definitely counts as taking steps towards finding out clues about the killer.
Hmm.
Um, I realized that Josie does not like it when someone spits at me. So I think I took a step towards finding out more about Josie.
Good point.
Uh, I definitely took a step towards finding my grandfather's ghost, even if he is apparently a dishonest dick. We are in the underworld. I definitely got low.
Yep.
And I think that dodging out of the way of that spit glob was definitely making a Hail Mary save.
Sure. Makes sense to me. You got an exceptional success on that one.
So I think that's everybody. Um, well, thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah, we always appreciate every one of you who shows up. Thanks for coming here to see us today, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
All
Bye.
right.